Welcome to another edition of Journey of Hope. Exciting and thrilling stories of people that have been impacted by injury, cancer, some type of traumatic illness, and have been impacted by the healing ministry of Loma University Medical Center. Journey of Hope is stories about these people that have met incredible odds and overcome. These people are not only survivors, but they're thrivers. Our special guest today is Dr. Sam and Jacqueline Curry from Wichita, Kansas. So good to have you here on our show, and I'm excited to share with our guest a little bit about your background and about your journey. You know, it's one thing when, as a retired general surgeon and colorectal surgeon, to perform surgery after surgery and encounter a number of different cancers, but it's quite another thing when you find yourself confronted with the words, "You have cancer." And we're going to talk about that journey and your journey to Loma Linda here. But Sam and Jackie, tell us a little bit about your background. Where are you from, and where were your parents from?
Well, we're both from Oklahoma originally, and we were raised in the town 70 miles apart. We've known each other all our life.
From childhood?
From childhood.
Really?
Our parents knew each other, and we knew each other, and I was from a town called Watonga. It's a small city, 3,500. She was from Woodward, Oklahoma.
And just 50, 60 miles away? Okay.
Exactly.
But didn't know each
60
other
miles.
at that point?
Oh.
No. Well, we
Yeah,
knew
we
each
did.
other.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
really?
we sure did.
Okay.
Our
Of
school,
course, in those days, the families were, the Lebanese families, which we are, were, they worked all week, and then on Sundays, each Sunday, they had different Sundays, they would meet in different cities in the 35, 40-mile radius.
Really?
And the men would play cards, and the women would cook, and the kids would play, and so it was, seemed like, you know, and so we knew each other at that time.
From years ago?
Years ago.
plus our high schools
Did
played ball against
And then
each
we
other,
played
football
against
and
each
basketball.
other. We knew each other, but then I went to.
But no childhood sweetheart at that point?
No.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I thought she was. Well, anyway, I won't say that. And then after graduation, I went to University of Oklahoma.
Graduation from high school?
High school. I went
Okay.
to University of Oklahoma, and after that, I went to Oklahoma University Medical School.
So when you were in college, did you know that you wanted to be a physician at
I
that
felt
point?
that way.
Okay.
I always wanted to become a physician. I didn't know I was going to be a surgeon, but I wanted to be a physician.
Okay.
And originally, I thought I would be a family practitioner. And then during my internship, I decided, no, I don't want to do that. I want to be a surgeon. And so I took went to Wichita, Kansas, and did an internship, a rotating internship.
In surgery?
No, it was just a
Rotating internship.
in those
Okay.
days. And decided I wanted to become a surgeon. So I went back to Oklahoma for 4-year residency. And then
Okay.
following that, I went into
This was
a
a
fellowship,
surgery residency.
General surgery.
General
and then
surgery.
I took a fellowship in colorectal surgery.
So you even
And,
further
Further study.
narrowed it down and
But,
further studied.
But
And where did you take that fellowship?
it was at Oklahoma University.
At Oklahoma University, okay.
And then we went to Wichita, Kansas.
Now, you guys knew each other from childhood, but where did you begin dating, and where did you begin to establish a relationship?
Well, when
You
I
were in
was in
medical
medical school and she was going to OU,
So you were at the university also?
which was just 20 miles. Oklahoma University's medical school is in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And the university is in Norman, which is 20 miles away. And so we started dating at that time. And
Now,
just
what were you
progressed.
studying at that point in school?
I was in just a business course.
You were in the business school at that time. So you began dating, then you got married. Now, had you already graduated from medical school?
I graduated one weekend from medical school. The next weekend we got married. The next weekend I started my internship.
Well, doctors don't like, the doctors are always watching the clock and you're trying to move it along.
Move it going.
So you begin your resident, you got married, and you begin your residence, your internship. Your internship. And where was that?
In Wichita.
In Wichita.
Wesleyan Medical Center in Wichita, Kansas.
And how long was that?
1 year.
1 year. And then did you go back to where?
Oklahoma University
Oklahoma.
Medical Center for my residency.
For 4
Okay,
years.
For 4 years.
4 years.
And then what?
Then after I finished, of course, in those days they had what they called a berry plan, which you were exempt from service, armed services, to finish your career, and then you go into the service. So I was supposed to go into the Navy as soon as I got out of my residency. So they told me they'd give me a 6-month delay. It would be 6 months before I'd get active duty. So we thought, well, during my internship, I met some people in Wichita, some other doctors that said they'd come and spend 6 months and take their practice while they go on vacations, and then when I get my duty call, then I would leave. Well, then after I got to Wichita, I got another letter from the Armed Services that it'd be another 6 months
Before they could do
before
anything?
I could go into the service. And then after that, about 4 months later, I got a letter they don't want me. This was right
They
between
didn't need him.
this was right
Which was
between the
good.
Korean and the Vietnam War. So
What a blessing.
I was blessed. I was real happy about it. So we ended up staying in Wichita,
Okay.
and thank God it was a good
Good
move.
decision and good
Very
move. So,
good.
and you've been there ever since?
Been there ever since.
Okay.
1963.
1963. All right. Well, we've got some pictures here that we want to take a look at of your family, because I know you got a wonderful family. We want to talk about you being a surgeon, and you've conducted probably thousands of surgeries. Many of them were cancer. But before we talk about your journey and your own journey with cancer, we want to take a look at some family pictures here. Who do we have here on the screen there? You can see them on the screen. You can talk to the screen if you'd like to. Tell us who we got here.
This is our third daughter, Stephanie, her husband John, Simon, and their two children. They live in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
He is a insurance salesman, and Alexis and John Robert are the children.
Okay. The next one, and there's a little story here. We don't have a long time, but this is Sammy Jr.
That's Sam Jr. He's our third child, and when he was born, he had a weakness of his right side, paralysis of his right
At the time of birth.
arm and leg. At the time of birth, thought to have been from, it was a forceps delivery, and but he did pretty well. And then after 3 years, he started having seizures, continuous seizures. And he couldn't feed himself, couldn't walk, couldn't do any activities
They probably
at
didn't
all.
give you much hope, did they, at that
They
point?
gave us no much hope at all. We were told that he should be institutionalized. He would never be able to function. We didn't accept this.
You didn't give up.
Didn't
You
give up at all.
persevered. I mean, I knew before I heard the story that you were fighters, but when I heard the story, this phenomenal story of Sammy Jr., I mean, it's an incredible story where you persisted and God blessed in a wonderful way. And today, what is he doing today?
Today he's married. He's got a son who is 2 years old now, Sammy the third,
Okay.
and he's in the restaurant business.
And leading a
and
very
leading
successful
Very
life.
successful. He has his own home and doing very well.
Well, you
Married
didn't
till-
give up, and we're quickly going to go through these pictures
Now,
here.
this is my four grandsons.
You got 4 grandsons.
Four
Okay,
grandsons,
I've got
uh-huh.
4. All right, 4 grandsons,
And-
and this looks like the king.
Oh,
Where is this taken?
This is taken in my present office. And,
Okay.
I am now a consultant for Hinckley L. Corey law firm on
Okay.
malpractice cases.
On malpractice.
I have
All
a
right.
private office, and that's
Okay,
that's
now
taken
you're
there.
kind of had a relaxing day there.
And this was a very relaxing day at home and den with my daughters, Obi, their dog.
Okay, and then we've got another
And
picture
this
here.
is my second daughter, Tammy, and her husband, David, who is a dentist in Oklahoma City, and their 3 children.
Okay, so you have 4 children,
4 children, 3 daughters and a son.
and you've got how many grandchildren?
10.
10, and how many great-grandchildren?
1.
1. And this next picture, when I saw that, man, that looks like the 12 tribes of Israel, but it's actually the 4 tribes of
That's the
Corey,
4
isn't
tribes
it?
of Corey.
Well, what a wonderful family you have here, and every one of them are successful. And as I've listened and got better acquainted with the 2 of you and learned about your family, you know, it's obvious that God has been blessing you all along.
He has.
But there's a journey that you got when you came here to Loma Linda. You know, I've discovered that as I've been working here at Loma Linda now for 9 years, and I've discovered that, you know, the different people, no matter what their background, it seems like if you're a surgeon, you kind of promote surgery. If you're in radiation, you kind of promote radiation. If you're in cryo, you may promote cryo. Or if you're planting seeds, you may promote planting seeds. However, you, as a surgeon, you discovered that you had a cancer. What kind of cancer was it?
Prostate.
It was prostate cancer.
Prostate.
I'm sure that you had probably conducted a few surgeries where you'd had removal of a prostate before. One
I
or
did
two?
early in my practice, but not
But
later.
very early you did.
But I did take care of several complications from prostatic surgery.
Okay. And again, I need to remind you as a surgeon as well as our audience here, you know, Loma Linda is one of 125 teaching hospitals in the country. We have a wonderful department of urology. We have a residence program here. Some of the finest urologists in the world. And of course, they do surgery. So that's one of the options that they have here. But you learned about Loma Linda and learned about the Proton Center. And so here you are in Wichita, and you come all the way to Loma Linda. Why don't you tell me and share with the audience why you ended up choosing coming to Loma Linda, and as a surgeon, why you happened to choose Proton?
Well, it was, I knew from my past history that in my practice, I knew I did not want the complications of surgery.
And that happens occasionally.
And it happens occasionally, complications and the ill effects. So I knew that surgery was not
A viable option.
alternate for me anyway. And at my age, I'm 75 years of age,
What?
and my urologist said that I had a very large prostate and that the surgery would be very difficult, and he didn't think he could preserve the nerves because of the largeness of my prostate.
And I think that's true of many
all
men
these
when they
are
get in their
some of
70s, that surgery is probably not the best choice for them.
So at the time, I didn't know what, I had not heard of Proton. In fact, my urologist had not mentioned Proton. But a cousin of mine, a doctor here in Palm Springs, California, found out that I had prostate cancer, and he called me and said, before you decide what you're going to do, you have to check Loma Linda University, the Proton.
This is somebody you've gotten acquainted with because you've apparently been coming out here during the winter time.
We come out to Palm Desert in the winters for 15 years. We've come
Okay.
out for.
And one of these
and
acquaintances said, hey,
And
you
this,
check
and
into
this is
Loma
one
Linda.
of, it was a cousin of mine. He's a retired physician who lives there. So, and then another person who was a friend of another friend of ours found out I had prostate cancer from Fred Kahn from Florida. And he called me. Didn't even know who I was. He called me. He said, look, before you make any decision, you got to read this book by Bob Marchini about prostate cancer and treatment, and you need to check into Loma Linda Proton treatment.
Really? Out of the blue? he
Out of the
called you.
blue. So I started looking through the internet and studying it and realized that this really is what I'd like to do if I was a candidate. So then Jackie and I we called and we had got an appointment to come out. And,
For your consult.
and Dr. Jabola, and he felt I was a good candidate for the treatment, and we went back home and celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary, and then we went to Oklahoma University for our 50th class reunion, medical school class reunion, and then we had a couple other obligations, church obligations that I had to take care of, and then we
Came here to Loma
Linda, and started in
August?
first week
First
of August.
Okay.
And it was a great experience. I mean, it was.
So you came out here with cancer, and you were sick, or at least you had cancer.
Well, I had cancer. I really wasn't sick. I mean, I really didn't feel bad.
Were you sick while you were out here?
And while I was here, I was not sick.
I mean, were you sick while you were having treatments?
No, I had no ill effects or anything.
Did you have
while
to
I was
stay
here.
at your home, or were you and
No,
kind of
and
keep
while we
cooped
were
up?
here, of course, because I had such a high PSA, my PSA was 34.
Okay.
And since I had that high PSA, I had to take 19 proton treatments and 25 photon, which is the
So you had
standard
40.
radiation.
You had a total of 44 treatments.
44 treatments.
And that was standard because you had a higher PSA.
I
and
had higher
they were probably
PSA.
concerned that it might have gone beyond the margins.
And they told me that I would probably have some fatigue and may have some urinary and maybe some rectal diarrhea, which I didn't. Thank God I didn't have.
Didn't have any of
I had
that.
no problems there.
So what were you able to do when you came here to
And
Loma?
when we came, I had very early treatments, the 6 o'clock treatments. I was through by 6:30 in the morning, and they wanted us to exercise. We went to Ryson Center, which is a magnificent place. The facility
Did
is
you
just
go over to the Grayson Center?
outstanding.
Well, every day we went.
We went every day for an hour and worked
an hour.
out, and then we played golf. Maybe
I
once
know
or
you
twice a
played
week.
golf,
In fact,
man.
I played with you.
Yeah, I know you did. You're a great golfer.
And we went to Palm Springs and had dinner with some of our friends. And I mean, it was like a vacation. My wife thought it was a radiation
A
vacation.
radiation vacation.
Vacation.
It truly
So
was.
you took advantage of a
And-
lot of the things that
Absolutely.
were
Oh,
around here
good
too.
things, yes.
Oh, that is great. Well, now
And I like to read. One of the things, your last day or the last week you're here, you get up in front of everybody and you tell about your
at
experiences.
graduation.
At our graduation, and I brought it with me to read what
Okay,
I said.
just before you read that, I'm going to ask you. You read Bob Marchini's book.
Yes.
Okay, and Bob, he was actually the first person we interviewed on this on the Journey of Hope, and he talked about his journey. And while you were out here, you became a part of the organization that he started. What is that organization? It's called
Bob.
It's called the Bob, and that stands for what? The Brotherhood.
Brotherhood of the Balloon.
Well, I just happen to remember that when you
And
were here, you were which one?
I was the 3,000th.
That's right. And
member.
I just happened, Bob wanted me to share this with
Oh,
you
boy.
on
Oh,
television.
boy.
And this says the 3,000th member. Congratulations to Dr. Sam Curry for special recognition as the 3,000th member of the majestic and prestigious Brotherhood of the Balloon. Robert J. Marchini, founder, and it's dated March the 27th, 2008, and I want to give it
Well,
to you
thank
here.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you. I
thank you.
appreciate that.
You know that, and Bob wanted me to present that. He's got another plaque that he's going to give to you in an appropriate setting. But knowing that I was going to be interviewing you here on the Journey of Hope, and you were going to share your journey, then I thought it would be appropriate to do that at this time.
Well, thank
now, you had some graduation comments that you wanted to
Yeah, I would like to-
that you shared at that time, and it kind of is a reflection back on the journey that you were on.
My journey started April 7th when I learned I have prostate cancer. I knew I didn't want surgery as I had taken care of many complications from prostate surgery. A cousin from Palm Springs, California called later and he had learned I had prostate cancer and said I needed to consider proton treatment at Loma Linda. That I did, and here I am. I truly feel God sent me here for a reason. Loma Linda has something special with caring and compassion. God is truly here. I had no symptoms. I have been treated for prostate cancer with protons and photons, and I still have no symptoms. Now I'm going home, not knowing for sure if I am cured, but I am sure I had the best treatment and the best chance for cure. Everyone at Loma Linda are truly earthly angels. I would like to thank Lynn, Pat, Dr. Jaboa, Nancy, the treatment techs, and all the staff at the Loma Linda Proton Department for the tender, loving care they gave to not only their patients, but the wives and caregivers as well. It was by the grace of God that we found out about Loma Linda. I can't thank God enough for that. Loma Linda is truly a unique treatment center, and we feel so blessed to have received the kind of treatment and care we have gotten here. They say that your mental attitude has a lot to do with your healing process. Everything Loma Linda provides, they expect the patient to participate in our incredible links to the success of the recovery of the patient. As you look around, it is hard to believe all these men are being treated for prostate cancer. They are smiling, joking, and I feel confident they are getting the best and the right treatment. The time has gone by quicker than we ever imagined. We have tried to participate in as much as we could in everything offered to us. We have bought several Bob Marcini's books and plan to give them to others that face the difficult decision we have had to make, and hope all of you will do so likewise. I joined the Brotherhood of the Balloon, an organization started by Bob Marcini with only 9 members to start with. Shortly after I joined, I was honored to be recognized as the 3,000th member. I hope that you will all join the Brotherhood if you have not already done so. Our journey to Loma Linda has truly been a life-transforming experience. We have made dear friends and will miss you all. Hopefully, through the Brotherhood, we will keep in contact with one another. Every hospital and cancer treatment center should learn from Loma Linda, not just to treat the patient, but to make man whole. Thanks to all of you at Loma Linda for making this dreaded disease and treatment tolerable and unforgettable. My sincere prayer that God will continue to bless Loma Linda Medical Center and its staff with the compassion and excellent care they have given us all as they strive to make man whole. May all those who pass through here be safe and healed of their disease.
I remember
And
when
I
you
gave
gave
this
that
report.
That's,
sure
I
did.
remember that you gave that graduation message, and it was a powerful testimony then, and it's a powerful testimony now. And it had to do with the journey that we are here. As you know, we're a Seventh-day Adventist institution. I often will say, you know, we're a religious institution, and we don't make any apologies for it. Out of the thousands upon thousands of people that are diagnosed with cancer or prostate cancer or any of the other cancers, and we're treating 44 different types of cancer here at Loma Linda, only a few, relatively speaking, end up coming to Loma Linda. And so you've heard me say it, you know, you're among a very special group of people. And we do talk about having a life-transforming experience. And I was glad to hear that that was the impact that it made upon you. And I know, Jackie, you participated. You went down to the Drayson Center, and did you? What are some of the other things you did? Did you guys go to any of the potlucks or anything like that?
We attended the potlucks. They had sessions with social workers for the wives, as well as for the husbands, and joint sessions also. And we tried to attend as many of those as we could.
Now, did you ever think that Sam was really sick?
No, not at all. It was unforgettable. I mean, it's a journey that we really enjoyed, if you can enjoy it with his treatment and all.
Well, that's interesting, because I've heard that many times.
It truly was a life-changing experience, and I really kind of missed the time we had together here when we went home.
Well,
I mean, because we did everything together, and we did everything, we tried to do everything we were supposed to do, and we enjoyed doing it. And like he said, we made lifelong friends that we still keep in contact with.
We still get emails probably
all the
3 or 4 a
time.
week from the group that were here when we were here. We're just like, you know,
well, you're
dear,
almost
dear
like
friends
family.
now.
Oh, yeah.
We were
almost
like
as close
family.
to family. You're on the same journey. You're discovered that you got cancer, and you're overwhelmed. Then you come here, and then you find like it's a safe place.
Yeah, it's a wonderful,
And
we're having we're finding a reunion. One of the
former
Steve Weissman,
patients.
former patient from Tahoe, is planning one in June.
And they're going to have a golf
Golf
tournament
Golf
there.
tournament and other activities for people who don't play golf, and it looks like it's going to be a big hit.
So it's a reunion, plus I think it's a fundraiser to help money for
For
the
the
research,
Loma Linda, for the research.
for proton and research that's going on there. That's right.
Well,
I do have to say also that, you know, I started off with a PSA of 34.
34.
Which is very high. And they say, don't get it checked for at least 4 months, and it probably won't be down much, but it'll take you a
some
year,
time
maybe
for it to go
2 years,
down, a couple
depends.
years.
Well, but I went ahead right before I came back out here for my 4-month checkup. I had my PSA taken, and it was 0.3.
Already?
already.
after 4 months.
After 4 months.
And
oh,
so
that's
we
wonderful.
get these reports from each one, all the guys that were
That
here
were
at the
here.
same time. Now we're all getting our PSAs done at about the same time. Everybody's had a very successful
Response
response of the treatment, and nobody has been ill. There's been some fatigue,
sure.
just minor things, but nothing.
But everybody's
Nothing
doing
serious.
Everybody's doing great. Well, God led you here. We don't have any question
Oh,
about
And
it.
we know
Okay.
that.
And
And
we
we
know
thank
that.
God
We
every
will.
minute. And I have to tell you real quickly, everyone here is truly wonderful. From the staff at the hospital, you never felt like you were going in to be treated for cancer.
Well,
and-
it's one of the few places where people come back
And-
to the place where they were treated for cancer just to show up.
I mean, and everyone, we just couldn't believe the treatment we got and the love and the care that we got from everyone.
That's wonderful.
and
You
it
go
was
up to the
truly a
treatment
blessing.
centers, when you go up to waiting to be treated, we're all in there visiting, having a good job. You never think it's a cancer. People in every one of us had cancer. It was just a great experience,
unbelievable.
a wonderful
I am
experience.
so glad. I'm glad that
God only knows if we're
What
all
the future
cured. We'll
is.
never know what our
Right.
future, but we don't know. But we feel very good and very confident about it.
Well, we don't know what the future holds, but we do know who holds the future. And
That's
I want to
exactly
thank
right.
you so much for being with us on Journey of Hope and for sharing with our audience. Again, I'm Lynn Martell with Loma Linda Broadcasting Network. I'm a part of radiation medicine at Loma Linda Medical Center, and we want to thank you for joining us on this Journey of Hope. We interview different people from all around the world that have been impacted by some aspect of the healing ministry here at Loma Linda. And I want to remind you that God has a plan for your life, and no matter what kind of a difficulty you confront, He will see you through. He does love you, and He has a plan for you.